convenes meeting of the council responsible for security. Officials meet in Guyana ahead of the 48th meeting of the Council for Trade and Economic Development. And PANCAP intensifies effort to guarantee the rights for mobile populations. These and other stories are in the CARICOM News Highlight for the week ending Friday, 12th April 2019. I am Tusankin English Francis.
And I am Michelle Nurse. Welcome to the program.
Issues concerning regional security, including the single domestic space, were high on the agenda of the 20th meeting of the CARICOM Council for National Security and Law Enforcement CONSLE that took place in St. George's, Grenada on Friday, 12th April. Under the chairmanship of Prime Minister and Minister of National Security of Grenada, the Honorable Dr. Keith Mitchell, the meeting discussed a review of the management framework for crime and security.
As we move towards fully implementing the CARICOM single market and economy, we continue to recognize that one of the most important underpinnings of that regime is a safe and secure CARICOM community. To achieve this, therefore, all our security challenges, whether they may be cyber-related, as mentioned before, or the movement of foreign terrorists, must be addressed collectively. I am confident that this Council will consider the issues in a meaningful manner today and will ensure a successful special summit of the CARICOM heads of government on crime and security when we meet in Trinidad next month would also be highly successful, based, of course, on the decisions that we make here today.
It also looked at the requirements for a single domestic space and the movement of persons within a harmonized framework for entry in the region.
Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Ministers, the high incidence of crimes committed with small arms and light weapons, particularly homicides, continues to be a source of much concern for our community. The statistics show that at least 70% of those violent crimes recorded has been perpetrated with the use of illegal firearms. These crimes are typically motivated by the trade in illicit guns, drugs, and gang activities. Incidents observed in 2018 illustrate a pattern for the movement of drugs and guns through our controlled ports. Our community has been putting an operational and legal framework in place to combat the scourge. With respect to identifying firearms and ammunition used in these crimes, an integrated ballistic information network is in operation in 5 countries, with moves underway to finance its expansion. We have in place an Advanced Passenger Information System, APIS, and have begun to establish an Advanced Cargo Information System, ACIS. Legal instruments finalized and signed include a CARICOM West Orange Treaty, return and sharing of recovered assets, and a mutual legal assistance treaty. Without the regional security strategy and architecture, we need to ask ourselves, would we have been able to achieve what we have done thus far?
Future trade relations between CARICOM and the United Kingdom were examined by officials of the Council for Trade and Economic Development, COTED, who met on April 11th and 12th in Georgetown, Guyana. The discussions were held even as the European Union leaders granted the United Kingdom a 6-month extension to Brexit after late-night talks in Brussels on Wednesday, April 10th. The new deadline, October 31st, averted the prospects of the UK having to leave the EU without a deal on Friday, 12th April, as British MPs are still deadlocked over an exit deal. British Prime Minister Theresa May said the UK can leave before then if MPs pass her withdrawal deal. The UK would continue to hold full membership rights and obligations of the EU during the delay. The meeting of COTED officials at the CARICOM Secretariat was held ahead of the 48th ministerial session, which will be convened later this month. The CARICOM Single Market and Economy and External Economic Relations were among the main items on which officials deliberated.
as CARICOM seeks to build technological resilience and intensify efforts to accelerate implementation and the use of the CARICOM single market and economy. Issues related to the harmonization of telecommunications regulatory framework in CARICOM were discussed over the last weekend. The meeting was held via video conference anchored in Guyana and included virtual participation from some OCOR members, including ECTEL and the Caribbean Telecommunications Union. The meeting followed a mandate issued by CARICOM heads of government at the 18th special meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government on the CSME that was held in December 2018. CARICOM Assistant Secretary General for Trade and Economic Integration, Mr. Joseph Cox, told participants that how the region treated ICT opportunities and challenges, all underpinned by strong, effective regulatory frameworks, would signal how it would survive and thrive in the next decades to come.
The Pan-Caribbean Partnership Against HIV and AIDS, PANCAP, is working to increase the access of migrants and mobile populations to HIV prevention, care, support, and treatment. With support from global funds to fight AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria, a two-day regional conference was held on the 10th and 11th of April in Trinidad and Tobago. The conference aimed at providing guidance on the implementation of the regional framework on migrant health and rights. The framework, which was developed by stakeholders last June, provides guidance for equitable and non-discriminatory access to healthcare services across the Caribbean for mobile and migrant populations, regardless of age, race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, or other status.
The Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, CDEMA, and the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, Regional Office for Latin America and the Caribbean, on Monday, 8th April, signed a memorandum of understanding that will allow for cooperation on the development of more resilient communities, states, and regional actors in the preparation for disasters and emergencies in the region. The cooperation is expected to target vulnerable groups, including children, youth, women, with a focus on the education sector, social protection systems, water, sanitation, and hygiene in building resilience. UNICEF and CDEMA said they would prioritize national responses in cases of emergencies, ensuring that those vulnerable groups are catered for.
Belizeans did not vote on Wednesday in a referendum on taking its border dispute with Guatemala to the International Court of Justice. The Court of Appeal refused the application for an urgent hearing of the appeal. Prime Minister the Honorable Dean Barrow of Belize said the Chief Justice's injunction was not really upheld, but that the court found it could not hear the government's appeal until 21 days had expired from its filing. He said that the government would continue taking the steps to provide for the holding of the referendum sooner rather than later.
My disappointment is, of course, based on the fact that there has been all this preparation. There has been the frenzied effort to get our people properly informed. There has been the tremendous hard work done by the referendum unit, by the public officers. There has been this intense, thoroughgoing, absolutely healthy debate. And if this judgment were to mean the end of the road, I would be absolutely furious at the fact that the people of this country would have been deprived of their opportunity to make a decision, whether yes or no. I think it is the fundamental right of the Belizean public, and nothing should stand in the way of that.
Guyana has been assured of a $20 million grant from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations to aid in the development of its food sector. Assistant Director General of the FAO, Dr. Julio Bordigue, in a recent meeting with Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu of Guyana, said the grant is to help the country to develop what he described as the tremendous untapped potential of Guyana in the food sector. He noted too that the FAO would strengthen its presence in Guyana, which is recognized as the agricultural reservoir in the entire Caribbean.
You can find the details of these and other stories on the CARICOM Secretariat news blog today.caricom.org or visit the CARICOM website www.caricom.org. Like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.